Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Life Matters by M Tattoo. Today I have an expert with me here to talk about a concept called Storybrand. You know the way you meet somebody and they ask you what you do and you're like, that one is very complex, it's complicated. I don't know, where do I start? Now all those kind of things, yeah, can be easily managed through a concept called Storybrand. And today I have an expert here again with me who
Yeah.
can talk about how to manage that. Welcome to our show. Please introduce yourself and tell us
Mm-hmm.
what you would like us to know about the concept of
Sorry,
Storybrand.
Brand. Okay. Well, lovely to be here. It's a privilege and an honor. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Pleasure.
So, my name is Sylvia, and I'm very passionate about people, and I'm passionate about story branding, which we're just about to dive into. Um, and yeah, I'm happy to be here and share my little knowledge about this topic.
Welcome,
Thank
Sylvia.
you.
So tell me, if somebody comes to you and asks you, what do you do?
Mhm.
To avoid this story of, it's very complex, I don't know where to start. How do you approach it?
So, I use a concept called the tagline. It's a one liner or a tagline whereby it's a brief that covers the problem, which let's break it down. So the first thing that is encompassed in a tagline is a problem. What's the problem that you're solving for people? So if you're a salesperson, whatever product you're selling, what problem is it solving? And the second thing is a plan. So you need to show the customer or the person you're speaking with how is the problem going to be solved by this plan that you have. And then the most important, the last part of that is the climax, which is the successful ending of that. So those are the different compartments of a story brand tagline.
Fantastic. Can
Yeah.
I throw you in the deep end and ask for an example or yeah, just to break it down a
Yeah.
little bit more
Yeah.
for our audience.
Could you give me like maybe an example of a problem people face and maybe we can come up with a solution?
So
Let's
like
make
let
it
me give you an
freestyle.
example of like
Mhm.
um I'm thinking of like today. Okay.
Mhm.
We're like three of us coming
Yeah.
from the same direction,
Yeah.
who all of us had to figure out their own ways of getting here.
Yeah.
But then later on we realized we came from the same destination, going to the same destination. How can such a problem be?
Yeah. And it's so funny that we literally use three cars, three different people to get to the same destination,
Yeah.
which at first did not make sense to me. But yeah, that is a good example. So, for example, if you live in Kasarani and you work in town, so I'm defining the problem so that I can
Mhm.
paint the right picture.
Okay.
You live in Kasarani and you work in the CBD, right? And you usually have to queue for about an hour. After working a whole long day, you're tired, you don't want to stand, and of course, you want to save on time. So, the problem here, number one, time is wasted queuing. Number two, energy is lost standing after a tired day. So, we've defined the problem, right?
Hmm.
And then the plan is we want them to save on time, and then the other plan is we want them to save on energy so that
Yeah.
that energy can go to a better, maybe a better thing to do.
Yeah.
So the thing I would think about as a solution, let's assume we own a company that helps carpool. So it's just an app, and therefore he drives, he goes to work every day. Maybe he's my neighbor and I don't even know him. And he drives to work and comes back home, drives. And his office is just a block away from mine. I probably, case scenario, I don't drive, but I live also in Kasarani, right? So what um, carpooling would do is that if you have the app, I can see, oh, we're going to the same destination. So I'll just jump into your car and maybe we can share cars or I can have a fee
Hmm.
based on distance.
Hmm.
And then I save on time and I save on energy, right?
Yeah.
And then the climax is you get home early, you have energy to spend time with your family, cook, have a good time.
Yeah.
So, what would the tagline for that be? I would say, and be graceful because I've been thrown in the deep end.
We will be. We will be.
Being a little graceful because
Yeah.
it's freestyling.
Yeah.
I'd say a lot of people waste a lot of time every day queuing to get a means of transport back home. What we do is that we have an application that is very easy to download, and it you just need to click and see a person who's going to the same destination as you are, and you're gonna have time with family, and you have the energy at the end of the day, and you it will even bring the family closer together.
Fantastic.
That's my
Fantastic.
tagline for
Fantastic.
freestyling. How did I do?
You did super well.
Okay.
Now, drawing you back again to our concept of Storybrand.
Yeah.
I understand there are quite a number of characters in the concept of
Yeah.
Storybrand.
Yeah.
Who are these characters and what are their like definitions or
Yeah.
how do you define them?
Okay. So think of any famous movie that you like. Think of the main characters in this movie. Uh, some of you like Marvel movies. So there's one character is a hero, and usually it's the main character. And then there's a villain, there's a victim, and there's a guide. So the hero is the one who is trying to achieve something. Maybe wants to get a girl, maybe wants to save a city, maybe wants to bring about justice. So that's the hero with a mission, right? And then there's a villain who's trying to stop the hero from accomplishing that purpose, right?
Mhm.
And then we have a victim who's feeling sorry for themselves and they're just wallowing in their pain. And then we have a guide who's helping the hero to achieve those successes that they want to achieve.
Okay.
So those are the main four characters um,
Just
that we
link them for me and how they work in, let's say, a career setup,
have.
corporate sector,
Yeah,
entrepreneur setup.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much. So let me start it off by saying that as human beings, sometimes we can play all four characters in a day.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, because there's one common denominator among all these four characters, and that is pain. So the villain did not just become a villain by chance
Mm-hmm.
or, just some magic. No, something happened, pain happened. And the hero also became a hero because pain happened. And to kind of paint the picture a bit clearer, the hero went through pain but doesn't want anyone else to go through it,
No.
right?
Oh, yeah.
And then the victim is still wallowing in their pain, still trying to
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah.
And then the villain is has gone through the pain, has gone through damage, has overprocessed it, and now is on a vengeance mission. And therefore, wants to hurt the person who caused them pain, but subsequently ends up hurting even people around them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the guide who understands, what the hero is going through and has been there before or has a picture and wants to help the villain, the hero get to their success story,
Okay.
accomplish their mission.
Okay.
So on a day-to-day basis, we go through pain, and sometimes we jump into victim mentality. But the secret is don't stay in a victim mentality for a long time.
Okay.
Because if you do, then you're gonna easily and naturally migrate into the villain category.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bounce back as fast as possible
Mm-hmm.
to the heroic solving the problem mentality. So to jump into your question that you asked, um, in a corporate setup, uh, the hero is the person. Think about it in your workplace. There's a person who's constantly wanting to solve problems. And don't misquote me. It's not someone who's trying to backstab people
Mm-hmm.
to climb up the ladder. That's not the person I'm talking about. I'm talking about someone who, fixes things. They don't necessarily have to get a crown for it,
Mm-hmm.
but they like to fix things.
Yes.
And then you have villains, and these villains, most of the time, they're very dramatic.
Yeah.
They're constantly trying to get attention to themselves. They're constantly causing problems. And what's beautiful is that the heroes are constantly trying to deconstruct the problems that the villains or the victims are causing.
Yeah.
And so a lot of energy is wasted in the corporate space when for example, if you're a manager, you've hired a villain,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to consume a lot
A
of
lot of
energy.
trying to resolve their issues. Yeah.
Yes,
Mm.
yes.
Mm.
But then if you hire moral heroes, then you're gonna accomplish so much because these are people with the mindset of achieving,
Mhm.
you know. So yeah.
So I'm trying to think of if you're in a business, okay,
Mhm.
when you're running a business, do you want to be which area do you want to play? Being a hero
Yeah.
or being a guide?
Yeah.
I can certainly assume you don't want to be a victim or a villain, but
Definitely not.
which one which one do you play, the hero
Yeah.
or
Or the
the guide?
guy.
Mm,
That's a very good question. Thank you. So, the role you want to play is definitely a guide. For example, for me, I'm a marketer and I have a marketing firm, right?
mhm,
And so, when I meet a company that they're struggling with their marketing or they kind of want to scale up or they want to increase their sales,
mhm,
I come in with solutions and a plan. The thing with a guide is a guide always has a plan
mm.
and not a mediocre plan.
A super plan.
Yes.
Yes,
So I'm coming. Remember, the role of a guide is to help a hero achieve a
the goal.
goal.
Yeah.
So I'm coming in and
Mhm,
saying, okay, you want to scale up. What's the plan
mhm,
that I can present before you and work with you to ensure that you scale up?
yeah.
If you want to increase your sales, what is the plan to ensure you increase your sales? So if you are a company and you have customers, always remember and ring it loudly
Yeah.
in your mind consistently
Mhm.
that your customer is the hero. You're not the hero. Because if you try to be the hero, then you're competing with your
Competing.
customer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So take the hat of a guide and you'll achieve success.
And maybe you mentioned about being a manager and
Mm,
um,
yeah.
having hired a villain, it becomes problematic for you.
Mm,
As a manager, if you're
yeah.
running a business, or if you're running a business and you need to hire people to work with you, which characters do you need to consider?
Mm.
Mm.
So here I think you're trying to ask me to sort of break down the characteristics of a hero, or is that
I'm just trying to figure. Okay,
yeah?
so for a manager, you already ruled out that you should not be hiring villain.
Yeah.
What about
Oh, so
victims?
what are you looking
Yeah. What are
for?
yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is the thing. I
Mm.
feel like with victims, there can be a grace period. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because they're trying to figure things out. So
Mm.
the problem is a victim who refuses to come out of victim mentality.
Mhm.
You give them chances. Actually, a lot of people in the corporate space, they say they try their best to give them three chances,
Mhm.
but then they don't give a fourth
Yes.
because there's someone who's refused
Yeah.
to change.
And you're running a business again. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm.
And you're suffering because of their decision of
Yeah.
not changing.
Yeah.
So I believe the characters you need to look for is the character you need to look for is achievers,
Mhm.
people who have solutions. You need to check their traits. Do they always feel that they need to blame someone? Because the victims are constantly blaming someone. They're never wrong.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
oh, my wife is wrong, my husband is wrong,
Mhm.
oh, my boss, my colleague. All
Mhm.
these people are always doing something wrong.
There
What
was
about you?
traffic. Mm.
Is there traffic from Monday to Friday? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so look, make sure you pick those traits. I,
Yeah.
I believe sometimes it's easy to pick
Mhm.
during interviews,
Mhm.
but sometimes it's slide in.
Yes.
But that is why, unfortunately, and I hope y'all don't judge me for this, but people say hire slow,
Mhm.
fire quick.
Oh, okay.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because with hiring, take your time to ensure you have what you're looking for.
Yeah.
But in firing quick, it's not that you haven't given this person an opportunity.
Mm.
It's because you've given them multiple opportunities and
Yeah.
they've refused to
Yeah.
pick it up.
Yeah.
And what is so sad is sometimes the victims have so much potential.
Wow.
Sometimes they have so, and you as a person, you can see the potential and you're
Yeah.
trying to draw it out, but you can't force people.
Yeah.
So it's that, yeah.
So, Sylvia, maybe in conclusion, I don't
Hmm.
know what you'd want to tell our viewers, people who are
Yeah,
running business, people who are trying to get their career to the next level,
yeah.
in terms of their the approach they can take based on the concept we are talking about today. Just simply in conclusion, yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
All right, cool. Um, Let me come in first from an employee perspective,
Mm-hmm.
because because you realize that there's some amazing employees. If you're an employee and you want to grow up the ladder and you want to be perceived as a worker, the first thing you need to do is have that paradigm shift where you have the mentality of an economic product.
Yeah.
So view yourself as an economic product in a competitive ecosystem
Mm-hmm.
and or space rather.
Yeah.
And what you do is that you have the mentality of ROI, return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are earning, let's say, 100,000 Kenya shillings a month,
Mm-hmm.
have the mentality that your employer needs to get the return
Yeah.
of investment at least times 10, times 10, x10.
Yes.
That's what we call it in the business world.
Yeah.
Yeah, extend it. So if your employer is paying you 100,000,
Mm-hmm.
make sure that somehow your services or your input is gonna bring in 10 times of that.
Yeah.
And then in the corporate I mean, sorry, in the entrepreneurial space, it's the same concept,
Yeah. Mm.
put in energy where you see return on investment on your customers. That if someone gives you a job,
Yeah.
let them see a return of investment on that job. And that means be a good guide.
Okay. So again,
Mm.
I think if I was to summarize what you said, I don't know whether I'll do justice to it,
Yeah.
but ideally, there is to be a level of efficiency. Whatever
Yes.
goes in, more has to come out.
Yes.
Uh, whether
Yes.
it's an again level of high efficiency. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So 10 goes in times 10 of 10 comes
Yes.
out. Right.
Yes.
So I will want to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, we hope to have you once more
I'd love to.
and
Yeah.
maybe many more times because I can feel that there's quite a lot we need to talk about in the
Yeah.
marketing area and in the story brand concept and the
Yeah.
tagline concept because
Yeah.
I think we've kind of touched quite a number of things today
Yeah.
and we can continue building on them in future.
Mm.
And to our audience, thank you for joining us. See you again. Thank you. Bye.